Hey, my name is Anastasia Aruz, and I have been doing a back to school challenge. And there's a few other videos that you can watch or listen to in the Facebook group. So make sure you check those out as well as this one. And feel free to share it with others, tell them about the group and they can all invite them to join. I think that would be great. One of the things I do a lot of times with things like this is I'll listen in the car. I'll hook it up to my charger and then just play the video because you don't really need to see anything. It's more listening. Although there is a PowerPoint that I like to put on that you can if you're a visual person. So I will be putting that on so you guys can see what I came up with on the emotional health of a family and how to help your kids. So this week, it's going to be on how to teach emotions to our kids and to our families. And so let's go ahead and get started. Let me see if I can screen share here. Okay, all right. How do we get this going? Oh my God, slideshow. Okay. Okay, so we have emotional health. What are emotions? So emotions are reactions that we have to things going inside of us or things happening all around us. And they're the thoughts that we could have inside as well. So you'll have emotional reactions, maybe to something you're smelling, or say you're in a car accident. Obviously, you're going to have an emotional reaction of fear or startled. When your baby cries, you have an emotion, and the baby's having an emotion. So it's something that's constantly happening around us. And I think one of the biggest problems with families in regards to problems at home, if you're having a lot of issues with kids with behavior problems or various things going on in your house, I think a lot of it always kind of goes back to the emotions and how they've been taught and how you're listening and how you are really reflecting and empathizing on what's going on. And I'm saying it's not easy. It's very hard at times because you also have emotions as well as your kid. And so it can kind of go back and forth. So I'm going to teach you some basic stuff about it. And if you have other questions, please reach out to me. This is probably my most favorite topic because I think it's the one that can be taught and can be the most used at home. And you guys can do all of this at home with kids from ages like 1 all the way to your husband or wife, because we all can use this. We all need to be talking about emotions and feelings and expressing what's going on, because the more we do that, the healthier we will all be. And I know it's hard for people. Talking about this kind of stuff is not easy for a lot of people, especially if they didn't grow up with it. So if you are a family that doesn't do this a lot, it's not unusual, but it can be changed. And so that's kind of what we're going to talk about. So here are the basic emotions, which you probably know: happiness, fear, sadness, anger, surprise, and disgust. I always like to start with these when I'm working with little ones and just basically getting them to verbalize how they're feeling, right? So say you want to start doing this with your kiddos. It can be very easily brought into conversations. Say you went to the grocery store and your child gets excited because you picked up a box of cereal that they haven't gotten in a while. So you could say to them, "You're really happy we're buying this cereal." So just putting it in basic sentences. Or say you're at the grocery store and they want something and you're saying, "No, we're not getting that today." And they get really mad or sad or whatever feeling it is, then you restate that, right? Like, you're really angry. You really wanted that cereal and we're not buying it today. I'm sorry. I know that's really, really hard for you right now. So putting all of these words in basic sentences that you use through the day. It is definitely a learning curve if you're not used to doing it. I do have some really cool feelings posters that I can email you if you're interested. Just send me an email, which I think most of you have, or you could just send it on Messenger that you would like a copy of the feelings handout, and I will send you one because I think they're really cool to put up on a fridge or on a bulletin board just as a reminder. And it also gets your kids seeing the words, right, which then they can build into their vocabularies. So basic feelings, they allow us to experience the emotion, right? They give us the ability to experience the joys and the sorrows. So once it's expressed, right, and it comes out, it's no longer stuck inside. So one of the things I really talk about with kids, especially when they're with me in like a session, is if they're angry about something and they don't get that anger out, it just like sits inside you, right? And your body does not release it, right? If they don't have a way to express their anger or their sadness, it just is going to build up, right? And then you end up with that kid that's really mad or sad, or you have a lot of issues with, and you don't know why. And it's not because of one thing particularly, especially if they're an older child. It's probably a result of many, many things that have happened that they have not been able to express how they need it. Not that you've done anything wrong, because you probably just didn't know any different. And so that's why I wanted to teach you guys this today. It also helps us develop and navigate our way through relationships and making important life choices and identify our responses to events. So if you're able to verbalize how you feel about something, your life is going to go much smoother. And I know even for us adults, doing that sometimes is hard, right? You don't like having to have confront people with conflict or really express what's going on because you don't want to hurt someone's feelings. So you just kind of don't worry about it and don't deal with it. But I think it's really important to teach our kids not to do that, right? And I'm guilty of that too. I'm guilty of ignoring stuff because I just don't want to deal with the other person's emotion. But I think it's very, very important to teach our kids how to do it better, right? And maybe you're awesome at it. And if you are, let me know, because I would love more strategies to teach as well. All right, so how do we teach this stuff? I kind of went over a little bit with just sentence structure, but you can also do it with songs. We give little ones, singing songs with the words in them. This is a great one to do, is reading books or watching movies and talk about the characters' feelings. So you wouldn't even realize, like, a lot of books, I was thinking if I had a book sitting here, I don't think I do, have emotions in it, right? You don't think about that when you're reading a book like Harry Potter or whatever, but you can totally build it into the story. So say you read a couple of pages, you can then look to your child and be like, how do you think that character was feeling during that scene or during that part? What do you think they were feeling like? So bringing those type of questions into the books. You can do the exact same thing with movies. Say you're watching, like, it's Halloween time now here. And if you're watching it another time, I don't know, but it could be a holiday time. But for Halloween, for example, maybe you're watching a movie that's a little scary, nothing crazy. And you're like, wow, how did that character feel in that movie? I wonder if he was scared. And then your child's going to tell you exactly what they think. They're going to be like, no, he wasn't scared. He was acting whatever way. So I think it's that's a really great way to talk about feelings. Using the feeling words in your conversations, like I was talking about earlier. Label feeling, family members are feeling. So what that means is, say you're at dinner and you guys get in an argument, and then you could tell one of the children is angry. Be like, you know what? You can look at so-and-so's face right now. You can tell they are very, very angry. They're angry for what was said. So if the people in your family aren't able to label them, you can do it for them. Now, it will be challenging because some people might get upset that you're putting a feeling on them, but that's okay. Then you can tell them, all right, well, if you're not feeling like that, how are you feeling? Because when I look at your face, it looks like you're really mad. So before you start any of this, make sure you prep everybody like that this is going to start happening, so you don't start shocking people with all your feeling language. And then also putting the poster on a fridge with a bunch of feeling words on it. And kids can go up and point to them if they can't verbalize it, because a lot of times you're going to notice it's really hard for some kids to verbalize the actual word, but they will go point to it, or they will go look at the face of the feeling and point to how they're feeling. And then you can verbalize for them. So big or hard feelings, what do you do? Now, those are the ones that are really, really hard. So it goes back to teaching, just like on the previous slide. So teaching, and this is, you don't do this when the feelings are happening, right? This is all prep work. So when you get those bigger hard feelings, you don't have as big of explosions. So teaching the self-regulation skills, so practicing different strategies of how to be calm or what to do when you're angry. Not when they're angry, this is at other times. Allow them to be calm and explain the feeling in detail. Strategies, meditation. I love meditation for kids. And this is something that's really big right now in my practice. I actually use a really cool app called Calm, C-A-L-M. They have some amazing ones for kids on there. And if you're with me in my practice, you know that probably, because I always talk about it. And I think the reason I like it is because it's so kid friendly and they're short, right? And they break it up into age groups, but meditation is great. And if you don't do it, this app will teach you how to do it, right? And you don't even have to say anything. So you could put it on for your kid and then lay with them or do it with them, and it'll teach you right along with them. Taking breaks is a great strategy. Breathing, really doing those big, deep breaths, and finding out what they need. This is a really important one that I think we forget sometimes. So say your child is in the middle of a temper tantrum, or just really upset. Once you kind of can get them to calm down and be able to hear you, ask them, what do you need from me right now? What do you need? Do you need a hug? Do you need a break? Do you want to come sit on my lap? Like, what do you need? I want to help you. I can tell this is really, really hard right now. So what do you need? That's a great question. So let me know if you try any of this. I would love to hear your thoughts. All right. So the next one is building resilience. That's a really important one when you're dealing with feelings and emotions, is learning how to build up resilience. And this goes back to the other things I've done in the Facebook group, those other videos, the connections and social network. That's like getting involved with the people in the community and doing classes, and doing after school events, letting your child really build those connections and social network, because then they have other support systems that they can use rather than just you. Foster wellness, that's staying healthy, physically active, eating healthy, finding purpose. Now, it's hard for your 5-year-old to know, like, my purpose in life, but their purpose during the day is going to school or going to camp or whatever it is. So really discussing that with them, like, today your job is to go to school and my job is to do A, B, or C, and we're going to have a great day. And this is the plan for the day. And so you could do it that way. Healthy thoughts, really helping reframe how you're talking. If you're a person that kind of goes to the negative, always try to be in the reframe and be present about what you're thinking. Optimism, flexibility, and embrace change. That's something to teach also, right? Because a lot of us have a hard time with flexibility. And so working with our kiddos on how to do that is another great strategy, because that will then help them when things do change and they don't have to have those bigger hard feelings as strong. They're still going to have them. And it's really important to accept that and to understand it. But if you practice all the things prior, it'll just be a little easier. Keep working, don't give up, just keep doing this as a daily thing, problem solving skills, and then having goals. All of these things are really important to help build the resilience so you are healthy emotionally. So say I've been reading this whole thing and you're sitting here thinking, this is going to be really, really hard for me. I just don't even know where to start. So kind of go through this list, like seek help if needed. How do you know? Like, how do you know if you need help or if your child needs additional help? So kind of, I'm going to read through. Thinking about or coping with the issue takes up at least half of an hour a day. So say you're at work or wherever, and whatever the issue is taking up a huge chunk of your day and you cannot get it out of your mind. Now that could be behavior issues with your child. It could be relationships you have. It could be past experiences that you just can't stop thinking about. That's one thing that could tell you might need some additional assistance. The issue causes embarrassment or makes you want to avoid others. So if you have a child or you have something going on that you don't want to go to the store, you don't want to go to the mall, you don't want to do anything because you want to avoid the situation because you know how hard it is going to be for your child, that would be a definite time to get help for them and you, because they'll give you strategies, right? If you get help, then you can get strategies so you can go enjoy those things. Thoughts of hurting yourself or others. If your child mentions this, if you've thought of this, this is another sign that you probably need to seek help. Not able to accomplish your goals. So you're moving through life, they're moving through life, and things aren't happening the way you would like them to. Say you've always wanted to go to school, but you keep getting stuck and you haven't been able to get through that degree. Maybe finding a coach or somebody to help you get to those goals, or your child has goals and it's just not happening. And the same thing keeps happening at school day after day, getting your child some help. Difficulty with relationships, quality of life has decreased, a trauma recently happened, which could be anything from losing a best friend, from moving, or a death in the family, a divorce, any type of abuse. Trauma happens all the time, and sometimes it can get resolved pretty quickly. Other times it gets stuck, right? So depending on how that child or that adult processed whatever the event was, determines if it gets stuck or not. And then the other one is more for adults, using more substances than needed, and it's a hard time quitting. So maybe you're drinking every night and it gets to be more than what you really should have. And you have a really hard, you're like, I'm not going to do it tonight. I'm just not. I'm going to have just one glass of wine and move on. But then it just adds 2, 3, 4 glasses of wine. And that happens like every day. I would go back down through this list and figure out kind of what is going on to make you want to get to that place with the alcohol or cigarettes or candy or chocolate or whatever it is that you have that is hard to quit. So let me get one of you. I got to stop sharing my screen. Okay. So anyway, that's my thoughts on emotions and feelings. And if you have any questions on it, please let me know. I'm really, really good at helping folks come up with different sentence structures in the family. I can give you some advice with specific situations. And I can help you just overall with this kind of stuff. This is a key to what I do daily. And I think it's really, really important for all of us to understand emotions and feelings. All right. I hope you guys have a great day. And if you listen to this in your car and you want to go back through the slides, you can always pull it back up on Facebook. But enjoy your rest of your day. Bye.